So, you wanna snoop in your daughter's texts? So I'm married to a wonderful woman. She's smart, funny and very kind. Her mother is generally very nice and tends to have a great attitude and be very enjoyable. A bit of a prude but generally enjoyable. However, can be a bit of a major snoop. If my wife leaves her phone sitting around, she will just pick it up and start going through it. My wife has kind of laughed this off as a remnant of her mom being controlling when she was a kid. I'm not a fan of this because my wife and I will sometimes text about things that simply don't involve her mother and I don't feel our business at all. So over Christmas I saw my wife set her phone down on the kitchen counter and I had a brilliant idea. Her mom was still in the kitchen and I sent my wife the most sexually depraved text about all the things I was going to do to her when everyone left. Honestly, most of them are things we haven't even done, but I had to make it extra scarring. I sent this text from the bathroom, and maybe it was my imagination but I could swear I could hear an audible gasp shortly after her phone went off. When I went out, her mother absolutely would not look me in the eye, then not so discreetly asked her daughter to come talk to her in the other room. When my wife came back into the living room I thought she had been crying. However, upon closer inspection she was laughing. Her mother had questioned her about me sexually abusing her and if I always talk down to her like that. My wife had told her kindly that what we do is between us and us only. Take my parking spot that I just dug out. Fine, I'll bury your car. This happened a couple years ago. It had snowed a bunch and so I went out to clear a spot for my boyfriend at the time for when he got home from work. Police officer. I spent a while digging it out, and as I was finishing up some girl drove up and parked in it. While I was still shoveling it, I told her that I just dug it out intending to use it and asked her to move, and she didn't. She then got out of her car and walked away. Turns out she lived 2 buildings down so she normally wouldn't park there anyways. Our complex had a mini snow plow and the dude was plowing in the area and saw this all go down. He helped me move all the snow from the pile he just created and put it all around her car. We buried it up to the door handles on all sides. He then dug out a new spot for me. Saw her later trying to dig out her car. Turns out she didn't have a shovel. So, naturally, BC I'm petty, I went out and reshoveled the sidewalk from the lot up to our building, and threw all of the snow on her vehicle while I did it. Then went inside and took my shovel with me. Let my brother wash his hair with Summer's Eve. For those who don't know, Summer's Eve is a soap for women's intimate parts. It's supposed to be gentler than real soap, and aid in cleansing a little better than just water. My 20th brother, 17, is one of the most spoiled and entitled boys I've ever met. He acts like the world owes him for his existence, and living with him is like constantly walking on eggshells. He always gets what he wants and he always gets his way. He has all of his own things, and refuses to share, despite having no problem taking from the rest of us. This includes personal hygiene products. He is extremely wasteful, so he gets all of his own things. There've been times where he accused me of using his products and blew up. I swear you'd think I stole money by the way he acts. I'll admit to using a shared shaving cream once or twice, but never anything else. After the way he blew up, I never touched the shaving cream. Last summer, my boyfriend left his shaving cream here during a visit, and my brother finished it. He never asked for permission, and he knew it was my boyfriend's. He would get it out of my side of the cabinet, and use so much of it each time he shaved. I was pissed, but my boyfriend didn't mind. I just started keeping his stuff in my room when he left things behind. After that, I left my shower items in recently. I figured that now that he had 2 bottles of shampoo and body face wash, he wouldn't touch mine, so I began leaving my things in the shower, including an expensive shampoo prescribed from my doctor for an ongoing skin condition. I'm only supposed to use it once a week, but I noticed it going pretty quickly. I brushed earlier. My brother and I were bickering and he brought up the fact that I recently bought stuff for my mom and boyfriend, some expensive-ish lotion, but not for him. I mentioned that I wasn't obligated to get him anything, especially when he never bothers getting anything for anyone else. He threw back, "That's why I only use your things." I decided to teach him a lesson or whatever, and I left my Summer's Eve bottle in the shower. I had taken off the label months prior because I didn't need my roommates knowing I was using this product. After he showered, he came and sat with my mom, "Dad," and I instantly recognized the smell, as it has a nice lavender scent and he had quite obviously used a lot of it. I asked him what he used to wash his hair and he said he used my shampoo with a cocky attitude. I explained to him that it was, in fact, vagina soap. He flipped shit and called me stupid among other things, but I wasn't fazed. At least he learned not to touch my stuff. My mom thought it was funny, but my dad is pissed that I'll let his poor boy wash his hair with vagina soap. He told me that I shouldn't be greedy with my other. He started coughing and screamed at me, calling me a bitch while I go grab the hose ready. He's now sweating and dry heaving while asking what the hose is for. I replied, "You'll see." Within 5 minutes of him drinking the vodka he throws up everywhere. So I was on a smoke break when this man comes up to me and starts being really lewd and bordering on sexual harassment. I politely told him I wasn't interested and don't hook up with customers. Others saw this going on and close in to make sure I am okay while leaving me to deal with this man. I finished my fag and got up to go back to work. This man only grabs my ass hard and makes kissing sounds. So I told him I'd be right back with a free shot for him. He looked so smug, which made it worse. I filled a shot glass with the hot liquid and gave it to him when I went back outside. Without thinking, he threw back this shot. Now I'm the one looking smug and the regulars moved to the sides of. So I was on a smoke break when this man comes up to me and starts being really lewd and bordering on sexual harassment. I politely told him I wasn't interested and don't hook up with customers. Others saw this going on and close in to make sure I am okay while leaving me to deal with this man. I finished my fag and got up to go back to work. This man only grabs my ass hard and makes kissing sounds. So I told him I'd be right back with a free shot for him. He looked so smug, which made it worse. I filled a shot glass with the hot liquid and gave it to him when I went back outside. Without thinking, he threw back this